outside and she gets so scared.
Good girl.
Yeah.
You're a good girl. Today I want to tell you the story of Maddie. Maddie's a beautiful girl that came into the shelter and she was shot out of a cannon. She was as wild as you'd call anything wild. On her arrival, we actually deemed her to be feral. So we put her in our feral yard, which was a little fenced off enclosure with a little indoor area for them to go, which was heated and air conditioned. Years back, that area was just a death chamber. They went in there and 7 days later they were euthanized. And I mean, every week there were 7 cats or 10 cats in that area, and you just had to watch them and clean the area knowing that they had no chance. Well, as we improved over the years, we continued to domesticate more and more cats, and less cats died in that area because we were able to do better. That's what experience should do, is it should build. It should make your organization better as you continue to go on, and that's what we did before it was stripped back down to a bare bones, basic number moving operation that is not for the best interest of cats like Maddie. Maddie was aggressive. Maddie wouldn't think twice about lashing out at you to defend herself. As you can see in the first video that I put up, I don't have a whole ton of footage, but I have a story. And the first video you'll see, she's actually in our wild yard area. And I took that video. A lot of times you'd have to do these things, or at least I felt like I had to, where you would document things because no one would believe you, or minute to minute, they saw this cat and it was aggressive and that's all they'll believe until you show them differently. So fortunately for this purpose, I do have a lot of these type of videos that I can repurpose now and show you so much of the journey of these cats and how difficult it is to get them to the next step where they become adoptable cats. Because a cat like her would be euthanized in that room or would have been thrown back outside by the way that most organizations and this current organization currently works. So Maddie, we got her into the cage to domesticate her. Now, Maddie was doing really good. She was very nervous about her acclimation. She had done very good with her progress. She continued to make progress in a cage, but she was still punchy. And the moments that she would take her opportunities to nail you the most is when you weren't in the cage with her, is when you were either leaving the cage with her or you were cleaning the cage beneath her. Because if she saw an opportunity to nail you in the head, she would. And she was good at it. And she got me quite a few times, and I knew that was what she was all about. Now, at one point she got calicivirus. She went into our hospital area, and if anyone knows anything about calicivirus, not all those cats make it. I have just poured everything into cats with calici, and you would give them fluids every day. They get sores in their mouth and throat, so they stop eating. They're bleeding from their nose, their mouth, their tongue. It's very, very gruesome to deal with. It's heartbreaking. And I've gotten many cats to survive through this, but it takes a lot of the cat's will to live beyond all the things that I'm doing, because I've seen so many cats just give up, and it's very, very hard. So Maddie, she was not eating. She went in there. She didn't have the highest end of calicivirus, but she really did have enough of it to really bottom her out, and she stopped doing all those things. She was not aggressive. She was not defensive. You can go all around her cage, and I had forgotten that that's how she was, because I had gotten used to a few weeks of her not doing that. Then it just slipped my mind that that's what she was all about, because I was so focused on her health and her recovery on that end that I wasn't worried about myself or safety or things of that nature in order to avoid, her little paw strikes coming out of the cage. Well, one day, she was definitely on the recovery side of things, but I hadn't realized how much she had recovered until one day I was showing a newer hire how to handle cats, because they were asking tips and everything like that. I pulled out the cat above her, I pulled her out. I handled her. I showed her, see, this is how you handle her. You scoop under, you could stabilize this way, and I put her back. I went to move the cat underneath her to show her, and now with this cat, I would do this. And as I went down and I leaned in for the other cat, she hit me right in the eyeball. And she punctured my eyeball, as you'll see in the pictures. And it felt like someone hit me in the eye with a hammer, like it just throbbed. So I just blinked the one eye, had some tears developing, and I just continued to show her, what was going on. And oh wow, that really hurt. And I told them about it up in the office, and I said, yeah, I don't know, it hurts. And I went back to work. So it was probably about 40 minutes or an hour later, and it was just still really throbbing, like I had a headache in my eye. So I went back and I asked the secretary back there, take a look at my eye and see, is there damage or anything? She's like, oh my God, you have a hole in your eye. Like there's like a puncture in your eyeball. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's no good. So I went off to the workman's comp, or whatever you call it, the doctor through work. And they took a look at it, and they put the staining on it, and they scoped it and all of that stuff. And they said that the puncture was significant, but not significant enough where they thought it was going to do any permanent damage to the eye. I had to put eye drops in my eye, I think like 8 times a day or something like that, like 2 different things alternating, and they burned a lot. And ended up being just fine. But in the moment, amongst me being in pain and all of that other stuff, I was really, really happy because I knew we got our Maddie back. I knew she was back to herself when we were out of the deep water with her terrible sickness. And from there, it wasn't long after that we got her back out of the hospital. And we were able to get her progressed enough to go from the cage area into the female roaming area. And she took to that like you wouldn't believe. She was one of the most friendly cats in the room. She sold herself like a champ, and she got a home. Now, I don't have any other after pictures or anything like that, but if you look at the sad cat in our wild yard area, and you look at the cat that I was holding minutes after she punched me in the eye, I'm so proud of things like that, because the dedication it takes to get a cat like Maddie, who was going to hurt you, and she hurt me. And to say that it was a problem for me would be it would be a flat out lie, to be honest with you. I took my bumps and bruises and scratches and cuts and bites and all of that as part of the job. We can make this entire industry really, really safe for people and deadly for every cat that comes into our care. Because if we write off animals because they pose a danger to us, the danger to them is so much more significant. It's life. Their life hangs in the balance on whether we're able to work them through their difficulties, whether we're able to work them through their defensiveness. Because we're talking about a 6 to 18 pound cat, usually on average, and they're trying to defend themselves to people that are 150 to 300 pounds on average. And you can imagine something of that size coming towards you without understanding the words or the communication. There's a lot that has to be understood through just actions, through compassion, through consistency. It can't be done overnight. It can't just be done real quick. What do you think of this cat? Okay, good. We'll send it over here. We'll send it over here. They have to be able to adjust. They have to be able to adapt, and they have to be able to be rehabilitated into the home that they deserve, because that's the only way to do this the right way. And you can opt out, you can call yourself a hero, all of the numbers that are written off and live released, they're dead. 3 to 5 year lifespan of an outside cat. And you can hope that they're one of those exceptional ones that live a long time, but it doesn't happen often enough to swing the average above 5 years. And if you think that's all they deserve, we're on a different page. So congratulations, Maddie, you were another one of our victories. AHS was a special place for a long, long time, and I stand on that. I'll die on that hill, believe that. So, again, this is just another story, trying to pass forward to you to show you what was done. This isn't a theory, this isn't a pipe dream or something that wasn't able to be accomplished. It was something that we accomplished for over 20 years. And we did it through our hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and passion for what really, really matters, and that's these animals' lives and well-being.